So you have hopefully drawn out the chart and put in the 9 planets. Basically, the protocol that I follow, I'll tell you, you all can adopt or adapt accordingly, is first thing is I put the planets in place. Okay, first one is putting the planets in place because I replicate the entire thing. I don't directly take an extract. It takes some time. It takes me, like in Photoshop, it takes me around 5 to 7 minutes, but it's worth it. So firstly is put the 9 planets in place. Second is put the nakshatra lord in bracket next to it. Write in shorthand if possible, or you can see the video later on. Third is put the karak, the Gemini karak, Atma karak, Amatya karak, Gyati karak, all of them. Identify the Gyati karak, like how I've shown that 12th Rashi mein, that red dot I've put. Some way you can identify that because that is important. Then identify the 6, 8, 12 lords. 6, 8, 12 lords, that's the fifth point. Okay. Then identify the MD and the AD, the Mahadasha, Antardasha Lord. So that becomes sixth now again. Okay. And seventh, basically, which should be like a backup data, is your Dashas, Vimshotri Dasha and the Gemini Dasha. Then have the planet ka detailed tabulation over there. Like what you see on the right. If you see the top one is the Vimshotri Dasha, second one is the Char Dasha, third one is the planet ka data, and below that is the Gochar ka, transit ka data. I think we have come to around 8 points or so, and the 9th point is putting the Navmansh outside of the thing. Okay, if somebody can just repeat that, so I'll just go on. If I make a mistake, tell me, because I just did it extempore. First one is put the 9 planets in place. Second one is put the nakshatra lords in place. Like if you see, what I would suggest is just see R6. That will give you what I'm trying to say. So first, put all the 9 planets in place. Second is identify the nakshatra lords. Third one is identify the charakarak, atmakarak, amatyakarak, whatever it is. Fourth one is identify the gyati karak and identify him and sort of highlight him. Identify the 6, 8, 12 lords. Okay. Then identify the Mahadasha, Antardasha. One more thing I forgot to say, identify the D1, D2 also, that is the Char Dasha, the Rashi Dashas. Then get the tabulation of Vimshotri Dasha, Char Dasha, natal planets and transit planets. So this becomes what I call as a cockpit. So once you have this, actually not the cockpit is much more complicated, but this is the basic data on which you can start analyzing if it is a general case. The other one which I have sent you, which has got all the pada and all that complicated thing, that level if you have to make a chart manually, if you do, it takes around half an hour, 45 minutes, what we do. But that, so that is only done in very specific or special cases. 95% of the time this is good enough. One more thing which you need to add on as and when required are the degrees of the planet. If you just look at R6, you'll see Saturn written in bold, into bracket moon, that is the nakshatra lord, AMK saying that it's the Amatya karak. Below that is 16 degrees, that is the degree of the natal thing, and MD to identify that it's a Mahadasha. Now, this is a 14 or 15-year-old girl. She's actually a friend of mine, ka friend ki daughter. That her father died earlier this year in April or something like that. From March this year, I've written at the bottom left, 16th March 2024, 5 p.m. She started getting epileptic fits. So that was a mild thing which happened. There was a repeat on 27th of September at around 1:30 in the morning. Okay. So in fact, they are coming this evening to discuss the case. I've just about managed to got time to put this in place. So now we want to understand why these epileptic fits are happening and what is the remedy for that. Okay, it's a actual live case. So you all study it, and then one by one you can start telling me. Manasi.
In the seventh house next to Sun, Mars, PK, what's the red triangle?
Sun debilitated. That is another point you need to mark it. I forgot to tell you. In that list which I have told you, exalted, debilitated also you need to mark. So first of all, if you are looking at an illness,
Sir, we will consider brain, Mercury, Jupiter as the so brain is first house. Then we will take Mercury and smaller veins is Venus as well.
nerves, this will be a nerve related case. No,
Nerve. So we'll consider Mercury or Venus.
Mercury is the right thing because Mercury is brain, Mercury is intellect, Mercury is
हाँ,
nerves.
हाँ.
And main thing is
And
Mercury also.
Jupiter as well because brain is like a boneless thing which is
Correct.
Jupiter.
That also you can do. Basically, for epileptic fits, the Karak are Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and Rahu, as per different books. So, Sun basically because it is related, it's exalted in the first house, so it is considered to brain. Moon is also considered as the emotional content of the brain. Rahu is like a short circuit person. And Mercury again relates to intellect, brain, nerves, all those things. So these are the four planets we have to see. Now don't forget you have to also see the dasha, both the dashas, which dasha is on.
So why moon? Because moon का इसमें see moon is about the emotional thing, but यहाँ emotional कुछ है ही नहीं. Epileptic has nothing to do with this. This is not what do you call it as a depression or that kind of a thing. It is like a play of the.
This is given in the scriptures. I am not saying it. It is given in the scriptures. Now basically whenever brain comes into picture, we normally relate it to the mind, right? If the mind is disturbed, the brain doesn't work properly. So if you are in a very stressed situation, you cannot take decisions properly as about that. So in a way there is some connection. So I am not getting into that part of it. But firstly, if we see okay, okay, I will not prompt you. You all tell me what, because even I have not analyzed it. Tell me what will you catch first when you're talking of a rogue prashna. What all will you catch? Sixth house, eighth house, sixth lord, eighth,
Yeah.
correct? And specific, since it is brain, you will catch first house, first lord. So this fit, epileptic fit, is not a sardi khasi wala thing. So it is not so much of a sixth house thing. It looks more like a eighth house thing, which is a chronic illness. So if you see in a Kalpurush Kundli, first and eighth house is the same, Mars, correct? Now Mars is seated in Vishaka Nakshatra. So now you will have to start moving. Actually, imagining you are a pilot and looking like a cockpit. So you have to keep running here and there. Wherever required, you keep hiding. Now, if you see Mars, immediately go to the right. Bottom says second to tabulation, which is the natal planet. Mars is in which nakshatra? Vishaka. Vishaka is equal to Jupiter. Correct? Can you make out that? एकदम bottom पे the blue one which I do know, that is the gochar just now. Blue is sky, that's why I'm saying it is in the sky right now. ऐसा मैंने किया है. उसके ऊपर का the tabulation is the natal tabulation. So if you see Mars 1, 2, 3, 4 Mars DK with Arakara, 0 degrees in Scorpio, Vishaka 4. Now it has just entered the 8th house. What is Vishaka? Vishaka is Jupiter. Correct? Vishaka is Jupiter. Jupiter is what in this case? 12th Lord and Gyati Karak. Correct? Now there you see it is seated along with Moon. Next to the Moon. Now Jupiter is what degree? Jupiter is again 0 degree. Mars is also 0 degree. So are they in perfect trine to each other? Correct? Jupiter is in Purva Bhadrapad. If you remember, Purva Bhadrapad is Saturn Nakshatra. Jupiter Nakshatra. Purva Bhadrapad is Jupiter Nakshatra. And Mars is in Vishaka Nakshatra, Jupiter Nakshatra. Correct? Now if you see, Mars is in the 4th pada of Vishaka and Jupiter is in the 4th pada of Purva Bhadrapad. Can we say that they are exactly on top of each other? I cannot annotate it, but just try to understand. If you remember the sequence, Sun has 1 over here and then 2, 3, 4 in the next Rashi. 1 and 3. Okay. If you can see my face, just see. Can you see my face also same time? So Sun is 1 over here and 3 in the next Rashi. While Jupiter is exactly opposite. It's 3 in the first one and the 4th one goes in the next. So basically Vishaka 3 pada are in 7th Rashi and 1 pada goes into the 8th Rashi. Similarly, Purva Bhadrapad 3 are in the 11th Rashi and 1 goes to the 12th Rashi. So basically that plus 1 wala thing mein that Jupiter is seated in Jupiter Nakshatra and here Mars is seated in the first pada of that Rashi. Are you understanding what I am saying? So basically what this means is, see, if you see 12th Rashi and you see 8th Rashi, are they in trine? Yes, they are in trine because 1, 5 or 5, 9, whatever you want to call it. Are they in the same nakshatra, Lord? Yes, because Vishaka is Jupiter, Purva Bhadrapad is Jupiter. In those 4 pada, which pada are they in? 4, 4. So it is not, see, it's like basically saying that वो दोनों एक ही राशि में हैं, ठीक है? फिर ये नक्षत्र है, they both are in the same nakshatra, and this fellow is in this pada and this fellow is in this pada. This tells you that these two planets are ekdam, म्हणजे not just shaking hands, they are actually holding each other like that, or they are one only, like one. So basically, what this is trying to tell us is that the 12th Lord and the 8th Lord are very strongly connected. Correct? Plus, the 12th Lord is seated in the 12th house, 8th Lord is seated in the 8th house. Does that tell you that they are also strong? Gabbar Singh is seated in his own cave, so he is the strongest over there. Correct? So, till this point, we have understood this. Now, if you see the Dasha, Saturn Dasha is on. Saturn का कौन सा दृष्टि रहता है? 3rd, 7th and 10th. From Saturn in the 6th Rashi, the 3rd aspect goes to which house? 8th Rashi. Who is seated over there? Mars. Correct? From Saturn, the 7th Drishti goes to R12. Who is seated over there? Jupiter. Now see the fun of it, which I am just observing just now. Saturn is in which nakshatra? Hasta, म्हणजे moon. And bang opposite, moon is seated in Uttar Bhadrapad, म्हणजे Saturn. Can you see this is nakshatra exchange? That parivartan, what we say, no, this is in a way nakshatra parivartan. Ki Saturn is in moon and moon is in Saturn. So in a way they are connected. You understand? Now, if you remember, I have always been telling you that look at moon, when you talk of moon and Saturn, look at moon like milk and look at Saturn like acid. So when acid is put on moon or on milk, वो milk फट जाता है. This can lead to this Rashmi, what you are saying, uska now that point might come up. When the mental state is disturbed, it can connect to so many things. We don't know that medically, but maybe when the mental thing is disturbed, some nerve might be getting activated. That nerve might be connecting to the thing. That's why moon is in a way connected to the this thing. And if the nerve is getting affected, it can lead to epileptic fits. Now you understand what?
So,
Huh.
so Saturn anyways denotes the nervous system,
Saturn denotes nervous system.
according to some classics.
Okay, oh, maybe possible. We normally look at Mercury, but Saturn also possibly here. And Saturn in Moon and Moon in Saturn, that is one connection. So now here, if you see what we are seeing here is basically the sixth lord and the eighth lord and the 12th lord are very strongly connected. Saturn, which is the Mahadasha lord, is seated in the sixth house of Rog. Saturn is also Rog Karak. If you know that, Saturn is also considered as Pida Karak, Rog Karak, Pida Karak or Rog Karak. From their third aspect over here, seventh aspect over there. Now see one more thing. Can you see D2 in the 8th Rashi? Scorpio. Scorpio started on 20th of October. Barabar? Now, in Lal Kitab, there is one theorem called Mushtarka period. Mushtarka only, no, Rashmi? If I remember correctly. Mushtarka period is like an overlap. Two things will not match like this, they will match like this in a sense. You understand? जैसा अभी छप्पर लगाते हैं, छप्पर is not put like this. छप्पर एक के ऊपर एक overlap जो बोलते हैं ना. So that मुश्तरका period. So when something start, they say 45 days पीछे and आगे भी उसका असर रहता है. Like if one dasha is going and it ends here, for the next 45 days it may go on. And the next dasha which is starting, उसका 45 days before से भी start हो सकता है. That is मुश्तरका period बोलते हैं, which I consider because एकदम point we cannot get because birth date time might not be exact. So here if you see, the Saturn dasha is on anyways. That is from 2008. Okay, I think she is born in 2010 or something like that. So 2008 से उसका Saturn चल रहा था. Antardasha of Rahu is on. Can you see Rahu hitting the ascendant by the fifth aspect? Okay, ninth aspect, ulta because it's clockwise. And from the fifth aspect, it is hitting the Surya ka Rashi, fifth Rashi. Can you also see Rahu hitting Sun, Mercury and Venus? Third aspect. I told you that some classics are taking 3 and 11 as the aspect. Some are taking 5 and 9 as the aspect. So I consider both whichever comes up. So now here if you see Rahu is hitting the 6th lord Mercury, 6th row Mercury, brain also and Mercury nerves also. Rahu is also aspecting Sun. Again brain, electronic thing. Rahu is also hitting Venus, veins. Correct? Rahu is also hitting the ascendant by the ninth aspect. Manasi.
Sorry, can you repeat Rahu hitting Mercury, Sun, Venus?
There are two concepts about Rahu Ketu, but let's talk about Rahu only. What are the aspects of Rahu? There are actually three principles, broad principles. One school of thought says that wherever they sit, they manifest over there. Second thing is the aspect. Some people say it's the third and the 11th aspect. So if you see from here third, it goes anti-clockwise, right? So Rahu's third aspect is on R7 and the 11th aspect is on R11. The third school of thought says the trine 5 and 9. So Rahu fifth aspect will be on R5 and the ninth aspect will be on R1. Correct? Now even if you see from both the angles, you will see that Rahu, let's say the basic one, 5 and 9. Fifth aspect is going on the fifth Rashi, which is of Sun. Correct? The third aspect is going on to the Sun itself. Plus Sun is debilitated in the 8th Lord Mars. Sun is in the nakshatra of Mars, Chitra. And plus it is debilitated. Plus getting hit by Rahu. Correct? Now let me do one thing. Normally when it comes, because here if you see there are lots of things which are showing this. Now which is the culprit pakadne ke liye I normally cast a Jamakol chart. Let me just see what is coming up. I'll share this one. Just give me 1 minute. Now this is the Jamakol chart which I just cast. Normally what happens is when such a confusing situation happens, I cast the chart to see what it's trying to say. Hora, if you see Saturn, Saturn is seated in the second house and coming to Udayam. Saturn is the 12th lord where Kavipu is seated. Correct? Moon is coming to Kavipu and Kavipu is catching snake. Rashmi.
Saturn is generally we take only for the bones, right? तो यदि Saturn आ भी रहा है तो in a way we can take delay in decisions, delay in brain functioning, but we cannot take it for the nerves because Saturn is mostly the career, the bones, the delay.
What about Pida Karak? What about Rog Karak?
Yeah, but they are the things. But then आप उसको इससे कैसे epilepsy से कैसे connect करेंगे?
I am not doing anything. I have just cast the chart to find out who's the culprit. So when Saturn is coming to Udayam, I will not consider bone over here. I will not consider career because a 14-year-old girl doesn't have any career. I will not consider bone just now. Epileptic agar hai, so I will consider Saturn as the Pida Karak. And immediately you take the next step, you will realize that Saturn is the 12th lord. 12th lord, 11th Rashi. Now 11th Rashi will say Ichha Purti and gains. No, 11th is 6th from 6th. Again rogue. Are you understanding? So basically Saturn is ruling over the 12th house, 11th Rashi, 6th from 6th, where Kavipu is seated. And Kavipu is catching moon. Sorry, Kavipu is not catching moon, Kavipu is catching snake. Moon is coming towards it. So if you see the sequence, moon in 20.29 it will be, most probably it will be Sattavisha. Okay, so moon in Sattavisha is coming to Kavipu. Kavipu 5.45 would be in Dhanishta, that is Mars. And Kavipu is catching snake in 5.29. That would most probably be Hasta Nakshatra. Hasta nahi, Shravan Nakshatra, moon. So can you see the connection of moon in Rahu connecting to Kavipu in Mars, connecting to snake in moon. So moon aa raha hai, Rahu aa raha hai. So basically it is trying to tell us something, and these are all in the Saturn ka Rashi. Now Rashmi, understand this. When Jamakol tells you something, it doesn't have to be direct. You have to twist your mind. Where is this all this happening? It is happening in the Saturn ka Rashi. समझ में आ रहा है रश्मि? To answer your question. तो Saturn coming to अपन क्या पकड़ते हैं? Saturn coming to उदय मुझे Saturn को पकड़ो. It is not that. You will have to go a little further. It is something related to Saturn, because if you connect this to the D1, you will immediately understand that Saturn का महादशा चल रहा है उधर. If you remember. So if we go back to the earlier one, if we go here, you will realize Saturn mahadasha is on. Okay. I am actually moving the mouse here, so when you see the video, maybe it will help you. I think I should have done that before. Saturn is on over here. Saturn is aspecting moon over there, plus it is connected over there. If you we just now discussed that Rahu is hitting this house of 7th Rashi. Rahu is hitting the 5th Rashi. Rahu is hitting the 11th Rashi, and Rahu is hitting the 1st Rashi. All of that we just now discussed. Plus, if you want to go from the Gemini Chardasha thing, then Rahu will hit Moon and Jupiter, Rahu will hit Saturn also. corner edge. Now, main thing what we are trying to do here is to find out which is the culprit. So again, I go back to the Jamakal thing. When you don't know the secret, no, you have to look at it from Kavipu. That's what I've learned. So moon in Rahu, म्हणजे क्या? Some turbulence in the mental state or emotional state, whatever you want to call it, is coming to Kavipu. It is getting connected to Kavipu. Kavipu is in what? Mars. Okay, so Mars, and that is connected to snake. Snake is a crisis, and the crisis is again in Shravan, my moon. Are you getting the connection? So it is something to do with the moon and something to do with the Saturn. Now, if we come back to this one, the earlier chart, I am getting a gut feeling that Saturn needs to be looked into, because Saturn is in the Rashi of moon is in the Rashi of Saturn, and Saturn, which is the Mahadasha Lord, is hitting it. So this Saturn and moon, if you see, is seated in the 6th Rashi of Mercury. How is the relation of Saturn and Mercury? Mercury is very friendly towards Saturn. If you remember, Mercury is that young girl who wants to go out at night and do party and all that. I have not taught you that technique, I'll teach you that. But Mercury is very friendly towards Saturn. Saturn is summer towards Mercury. Okay, so they are good, they are okay that way. Moon, Mercury is okay with moon. Moon doesn't like Mercury. So moon is in a difficult situation. Saturn is in a comparative good situation. So Maar kaun kha raha hai? Moon kha raha hai. Then this Saturn, which is seated pretty strong, is hitting moon seated in the Saturn का नक्षत्र only. So खुद के घर में वो moon आके बैठे उसको ही मार रहे हो. So who is the one who is getting hit here? Moon. So even though moon का dasha is not on from any way, but it is affected firstly because it is seated in the Mahadasha Lord का nakshatra. If you see moon R12, are you understanding this? Now you all tell me if there are any further points, then we'll go to the remedy part.
What about the Navmanch ones? Are we looking at those? The ones outside?
So where is moon going in the Navmanch? From the moon. It's gone to R5. So that is what? 6th from itself. Correct? Moon has gone in Saturn R5, no? The Navmanch. It has gone 6th from itself. So it's a 6th 8 Shadashta 6-8 relation. So that also shows that moon is not in a very good state. Moon over here is in a Saturn nakshatra. That is also not a very good thing. Moon is seated along with the Gyati Karak and the 12th Lord in the 12th house. Again, it's not a good thing. Correct? 8th Lord has a 5th aspect on it. 12th Lord is seated with it. 6th Lord has a 6-8 relation with it. So is moon in a bad state in this person's chart? You all understanding, or is it going a little heavy? Any other points you all can catch? Just take 2 minutes, observe it and tell me if there are any points which I have missed out. You have to see the Gochar also. We are not considering the Gochar. Please consider the Gochar and see. The middle chart which I put is the Gochar at that time of 16th March when she first had that issue. Manasi, when I come there, the bottle ink milte na, white. You had bought those two, so I need to buy. Mala athwan kar gaya because here those bottles have stopped. We don't get a bottle here. Now we get only pens, and that pen doesn't flow like this. Hello? What else do you see? Look at, I'm giving the hint, look at the transit. I have written over the transit Saturn R11 में किधर जाके बैठे हो. And in the blue chart, see where transit Rahu is also seated. In fact, in the middle portion you have to see. Transit Rahu was at 21 degrees. You You have to keep jumping between the data and wherever required, make the notations there. Transiting Saturn just now till recently was retrograde. Now it is again margi, direct. The thing what I've written in brown R11, can you see transit Saturn in the nakshatra of Rahu at 17 degrees and direct? It was not retrograde. So from there, which are the three hits which it is giving? Is that Saturn hitting the ascendant? Is that Saturn hitting the ascendant Lord? And is the ascendant hitting the Sun ka Rashi? Can you see that? Who is not understood? Anyone not understood? Not understood, Rashmi? Look at R11. R11, can you understand where is R11? R11 में one blue में लिखा है, one brown में लिखा है. Blue का transit Saturn का position है on 14th of December, that is yesterday. उसके नीचे brown में लिखा है, that is the transit position I have written the 16th of March when that girl had that problem. From there, third aspect is what? 11, 12, 1. ये first इस पे मारा. 7th बोला तो diagonally opposite 5th राशि को मारा, sun सूर्य वाले, so सूर्य को भी मारा उसने. And from that 10th, if you go to see, so if you consider that as 1, then 12, 11, 10, मुझे 8th राशि. 8th राशि में कौन बैठा है? Ascendant Lord बैठा है. So can you see Saturn in Rahu, Pida Karak in Damager, Rahu, is hitting the ascendant brain, is hitting the ascendant Lord, the actual physical brain. Rashi is the Ajiv Karak, and this is the Jeev Karak, if you want to say. So it is hitting the zone of the brain, and it is also hitting the brain. So it is basically hitting the native. And it is aspecting the Rashi of Surya. Correct? So automatically Surya also in a way gets hit, directly or indirectly. किसी का घर पे बॉम्ब डाल दिया और वो किधर दूसरे गांव में बैठे, उसको इफेक्ट होगा ना, उसको करोड़ों रुपए का नुकसान हो गया ना. So Surya is also affected. Surya is again brain. Surya is also debilitated. So suppose, now just a thought, how to catch the culprit I am trying to teach you. ये सब में basically we understood that something in that Saturn is causing the problem. Because if you see from the natal point, Saturn's third aspect is hitting the ascendant Lord. Correct? Saturn is in a 6-8 relationship with the ascendant. From Saturn it is the 8th, from the ascendant this is in the 6th. So Saturn per se is hitting something to the native. Can we say that? Basically, if there is something given in the natal chart, it will happen when the Gochar happens. वो एक ध्यान में रखो. Gochar is called as a messenger boy by many people, they call it. So basically, Saturn hitting the ascendant Lord means what? It is going to hit that person, and hit the person where? In the first Rashi, brain. Because it's the first Lord which is there. And it is seated in the 8th Rashi plus 8th house. Now it is going to give something of a bigger nature, not a sardi khasi wala thing. Ascendant Lord in the 8th house itself is trying to say that some illness which can happen to this person is not going to be a sardi khasi level, it's going to be something which is going to need medical intervention. Saturn, which is Pida Karak, is also the 11th Lord. And 11th Lord, always remember, is also 6th from 6th, which is also Rog Karak. Plus it is seated in Moon. I started off by saying those 3-4 Karak of epileptic fit. Moon is also epileptic fit. So Moon, plus Moon is seated in the 12th house. It is not in a good position. It is in one of the Trik houses. Plus it is in the nakshatra of Saturn, which is acid. So Moon is damaged anyways. Correct? So if you see, Saturn in the natal chart has given enough proof that it will hit this person. When? In the Dasha, Mahadasha period. Now, if you see, Saturn is the Mahadasha. Now pay attention. Saturn is the Mahadasha. Rahu is the Antardasha. When Saturn came into Rahu Nakshatra, transiting Saturn came into Rahu Nakshatra, which was 25th of March 2022, it started hitting. Now if you see on 16th of March, what degree have I written over there in brown? 17 degree. What is the degree of the ascendant? 16 degrees. So is it almost on the dot over there? 1 degree mistake is very easily possible because the time might be wrong of birth. So can you see from the third aspect, Saturn is hitting the ascendant plumb, ekdam head on. You got it? So basically Saturn is hitting all these things and causing a problem. So what should be moved from its position? Which planet? Saturn, your moon, your ascendant lord, what should be moved? So Rashmi, you tell. Rashmi should know this. Which planet should be moved? Can you tell me? चलो ध्यान नहीं है आज.
Sir, I'm not able to. This seems like bit complicated for me. Like
क्रिकेट नहीं तेरा ध्यान नहीं है. Can make out from your face. कुछ तो भी तेरा ध्यान किधर दूसरी जगह है. ऑनलाइन धपाटा कैसे देने का मेरे को सीखना पड़ेगा. जैसे some extension will be there in Chrome. Give धपाटा doom करके उधर. Which planet? See, always remember when there are more than many times the one planet पकड़ के उसका उत्तर आ जाता है. Many times there are 3 or 4 planets and you need to know which one to move or which ones to move. Many times you have to move 2 planets. Like in my case, I'm moving 2 planets here. Here, if you see Saturn and Rahu, दोनों आ गए.
Saturn, yes.
बराबर. Saturn and Rahu are in this thing. Now, Rahu, if you see in the transit bottom, एकदम bottom वाला, Saturn is in which nakshatra? Uttar Bhadrapad. Sorry, Rahu is in which nakshatra? Uttar Bhadrapad. What is Uttar Bhadrapad? Saturn. So transiting Rahu is in Saturn nakshatra. And Saturn is in what? Satabhisha, Rahu nakshatra. Can you see that? Extreme bottom, if you see that blue bottom right, that is the...
Dada, you can use your mouse.
I can't, no, I can, but you can't see it. If you see the bottom...
No, we can see it. We can see it.
You can see the mouse?
Yeah.
Huh? You can see the mouse move? Very baapre.
Yeah.
This time I was bloody hell, I should have done that. Okay, can you see this Rahu here? This Rahu
सर मुझे स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रही है.
हाँ?
स्क्रीन ही नहीं दिख रही आपकी मेन
गलत screen देख
चार्ट वाली.
You are looking at the wrong screen. See the chart, don't see my face.
नहीं सर चार्ट नहीं दिख रहा मुझे. 5 मिनट हो गया. मुझे लगा शायद आप ऐसे ही समझा रहे हो. मैं 1 मिनट वापस से लॉग ऑन
Swati,
करती
you're
हूँ.
on mobile. Yeah,
can
just
see the
log out and
chart.
log back in.
हाँ मैं लॉग आउट करके लॉग इन करती हूँ वापस. रुकिए सर.
All of you can see the screen. इतके में mouse आलता पण why didn't you tell me? मी बावट सारखा उगाच हे करत बसलो इकडे. Okay, so now if you see here where the mouse is now, Rahu is in Uttar Bhadrapad. Uttar Bhadrapad. हाँ. चलो स्वाति we are starting. अभी आ रहे दिख रहे क्या? हाँ. So now Rahu, if you see, is in Saturn nakshatra. Transit Saturn is in Satabhisha Rahu nakshatra. Can you see that? So here if you see, we have got Saturn in the Rahu nakshatra. Rahu is the Antardasha lord, Saturn is the Mahadasha lord. So both are on. Barabar. So is Saturn doing damage or is Rahu doing damage is now a very debatable point. Why? Because Rahu यहाँ पर बैठा है in the Saturn nakshatra. At the moment, I am not written here, but just now transiting Rahu is here in R12. So from R12, it is getting trine connected to ascendant lord. And if you see transiting Saturn, which is in Rahu, is hitting the ascendant. So basically, Saturn and Rahu together are creating havoc in this person's life. Barabar? Saturn anyways is seated in the 6th house of Rogue, seated in the nakshatra of Moon, which is again mental this thing. Now see this, Rahu is in the nakshatra of 9th house, Father. Ketu cut. She lost her father. Uska date I'll get you, but I think it is in April. This of course started 25th of March 2022. But Rahu, okay, now we'll have to go one level below to see whether Rahu mein Rahu kab aaya. So Saturn mein Rahu mein most probably even Jupiter would have come because the 12th lord. वो time का that I'll find out and tell you the exact date. But if you see 9th house में राहु मुझे something problem with the father, केतु मुझे cut, and if it is Jupiter it is 12th house of loss. So maybe Saturn, Rahu, Jupiter के इसमें maybe the father died. That I'll check and tell you. But basically if you see Saturn and Rahu are the things which are causing the problem. Saturn rules over this house we know. Do you know Rahu is the co-lord of which house? Which Rashi?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Barabar. So basically both of them from this position are hitting here and here. Now Saturn is not a Gyati Karak. Saturn, now understand the remedy how I think of it. First of all, you have to understand whether Saturn it is a offshoot of a Lal Kitab theorem. Lal Kitab theorem is what? जो तुमको पीड़ा दे रहे उसको जल प्रवाह कर दो यानी दूर कर दो, जो तुमको भला करे उसको नजदीक करो, बरोबर? I don't do नजदीक और दूर anything. I just do the remedy in a different way that you will understand the difference. Is Saturn bad in this chart? Just because Saturn is पीड़ा कारक वो नहीं. Saturn is first of all the अमात्य कारक, career, पैसा, everything. Okay, Saturn is seated in 6th house. Saturn, you look at career, 6th house, you look like competition wins. Saturn, you look like job. Okay, Saturn is in the nakshatra of moon. Now, forget that acid and milk wala thing. Can she have a career in moon, which is something like nursing or something like, teaching or something like that? In the 6th house of job. So the Saturn will do very well over there. Correct. Now, just now, since he's a 14-15-year-old girl, we cannot tell her to start doing some training for a nurse or something like that. But where should we put Saturn? Suppose I put Saturn in the first Rashi, it gets debilitated. Now, just understand how the thought process goes. If I put it in R1, Saturn and Rahu together, basically black and brown, whatever. First Rashi, it gets debilitated. But still, it is in the first house. मुझे उधर भी बैठ के हवा निकल गया है, but फिर भी वो गब्बर सिंह है, वो कुछ तो कर सकेगा. If we put him in the second Rashi, that is where moon gets exalted. So moon, which is actually her 4th lord of Sukhastan, seated in the 12th house of foreign, maybe she should be away from the homeland, she might do well. तो second house of income and this thing, उसको ही Saturn डाल दे तो उधर भी problem हो जाएगा. Now if I put Saturn in the 7th Rashi, where it gets exalted, it is seated with the 6th Lord Mercury over there. It is seated with a debilitated Sun, so Surya Sun का effect हो जाएगा. And also Venus, Atma Karak, so it will hit that. So where do you think the Saturn Rahu should be put? And then we'll discuss how to activate that.
So considering second house will be better. Sir, because 7th house we cannot because Sun Saturn खराब हो जाएगा. So 7th is ruled out. First, like you said कि it is related to the brain, तो उधर problem करेगा. तो second
सूर्य शनि के टक्कर में क्या हो जाता है?
शुक्र मारा जाएगा.
So then Venus is your आत्मा का.
हाँ, तो वो हम नहीं कर सकते. So second seems to be a better this thing in out of these things.
No, second if you put again that Venus also gets activated only, no? That Surya also will get activated. Surya शनि के इसमें वो हो जाएगा. If you put it in the 7th house तो उसके बहुत में बिठा दे उसको.
तो how about third? यदि third में करेंगे तो राहु एंड केतु एक ही साथ आएंगे. Okay. And
राहु केतु आ जाएंगे, but from there, from the 5th aspect, again you are hitting the Mercury, Sun, Venus. It's not so simple. That's what I'm saying. Earlier it used to be simple. 1, 2, and 3 करते थे. It's becoming more and more complex. Where do you think Saturn should be? And what should? Then the remedy we'll find out.
Saturn जहाँ पे वो डेलिमिटेटेड है वहीं पे डालना है ताकि उसको हम वो कर सकें.
I told you, Saturn is actually speaking not bad for her. It is hitting this with Rahu, that's why it is hitting. Now, consider the natal Saturn. Okay, Saturn is in Moon. Barabar? Now, she is 2010 born. She must be around 14-15 years ka age. Barabar? Okay, ठीक है. Now, Saturn in Moon in the 6th house and as the Amatya Karak plus switched on because of Mahadasha is in no way connected to Rahu, is it? Barabar? If we suppose, let's say we want to put Moon, we want to put Saturn in the 6th Rashi. 6th Rashi में which all नक्षत्र आते हैं? सूर्य का एक नक्षत्र आता है, सूर्य का 3 नक्षत्र आते हैं, बराबर? मून का 4 नक्षत्र आते हैं, and चित्रा which is Mars का 2 नक्षत्र आते हैं. Correct? You remember that thing, no? So 6th Rashi में you will get Uttar Phalguni, then you will get Hasta, and you will get Chitra. So Sun, Moon, Mars. In no way Rahu is getting connected to it. If you had put it in the 7th one, we have got Swati over there, which is Rahu. So we are putting the, suppose we put it in the 6th, where it is in a natal chart. Okay. So Rahu ka connection nahi hai udhar. Now, what do you make her do so that the 6th house, Saturn, Moon gets positively affected? What is the karak? I am giving the negative character. Like I keep telling you, imagine a season ball. Left side पे काटे है, right side पे smooth है. Just now she is rubbing it from the left side. So what is happening? Saturn पीड़ा कारक आ रहा है, Moon मन आ रहा है, mind 6th रोग आ रहा है, बरोबर? Now 6th Saturn and Moon को क्या करना चाहिए? She is a 15-year old girl. म्हणजे must be I think जेमतेम 10th standard में रहेगी वो.
So the sun needs to be activated.
Why?
It is 12th to 6th recovery. And if you see the natal and D9 sun both are debilitated, sun is the overall vitality of that being. So if we can activate sun, or if we can do the remedies for sun, maybe she will recover.
Okay.
Is that 5th house then?
It's a 5th lord, no? 5th house of recovery. So 5th house lord sun is debilitated. So what he's saying is we should strengthen sun, which is also correct. So if we have,
So in a way we should do something for the Saturn का जो positive aspect है या राहु का जो positive aspect है, more towards the new technology, those kind of a thing, new even for the remedy for her treatment, something. See, this is also related to radioactive and those X-rays and the MRIs and all those things can help to diagnose. And Saturn का जो positive aspect है that searching for the focusing more for the career or for the studies will help her.
see, if you go to think of it, I think she's just got into 10th standard or something, because I remember the friend telling me that she's little low on the intellect because maybe Saturn Moon का वो है. So मुझे वो जब डर रहे थे कि 10वीं बराबर पास होगी कि नहीं. So let's presume she's just now to the 10th. Moon, if you remember, is also teaching or teacher. Mercury Rashi. Swati, 1 minute. Mercury Rashi is Mercury's education. Mercury's education. Moon is teacher. Saturn is senior, old, something old. 6 is competition wins. If she, with a Sankar, decides to do tuitions with some very senior person, lady or man, whatever it may be, related to the 10th standard thing, will we activate this entire house and these planets that way? Swati, what do you want to say?
सर मोबाइल एक्चुअली सबमिट होने वाला है, मैं रिपोर्टिंग के लिए जा रही थी.
Okay.
कैच अप लेटर सर.
Bye. So basically, can you think of what I'm saying, or if there's some other better option, tell me that. And that, frankly speaking, that in the Navmanch becomes ascendant also. So the 6th house, 6th Rashi is also the ascendant in the Navmanch, which is the brain of that person. Correct? There we have to tackle 6th Rashi, Saturn, Moon, Mercury. Plus, in a way, Amatya Karak. So let's look at the negative things. 6 is Rog, Saturn is Pida Karak plus Rog Karak, Moon is emotional turmoil, Mercury is brain and also Berupiya to Dagmag. And Amatya Karak is second. Chalo, usme bura kuch hai nahi. So 6th instead of Rog Karak, can we consider it as a competitive exam, maybe 10 standard? Mercury Rashi. Okay, instead of the Dagmag or Berupiya or this thing, Khada Anda jo bol rahe, kuch bhi ho sakta hai, mujhe again mentally hai. Can we consider that as education? Moon, which is the natural 4th lord, and in her case also 4th lord, which is teacher, because mother is the first teacher, that's why Moon is considered as teacher. Saturn, which is something which is old, or old in the sense, I don't know how to explain, like JJ College of Architecture is a 150-year-old thing, and let us say some BSSA is a 15-year-old college. So which one will you consider Saturn? So JJ will be considered Saturn. This may be considered a Venus or something which is new and ekdam fresh sort of. So if this girl takes up tuitions under some very senior person, old person, let us say, who's been in the line for 25, 30, 40 years, whatever, old these teachers are there, related to 6th competitive exam which is coming up with, will we totally change the entire Karak Tattva of all these planets? Yes, that is the solution.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, this is the way. Rub it in the right way. And so there is no need to, putting up any dot or anything on the finger, but doing it differently, right?
Dot ka kya, what I've observed, no? Like dot, Rashmi knows, I have been using for you, Manasi knows for last, I think, at least 3-4 years that thing has come up. What I've realized is, dot is like a penicillin shot, ke fat karke wo result deta hai. But for long term thing, what you have to do now, you have to do the secret of, I feel it is the secret of astrology remedy. See, I'll tell you a very simple thing. Sankalp Sankalp I get thoughts, okay, just thoughts. So one thought which came to me, which I think is the secret of astrology remedy, is that thought said that there is nothing like remedy. Remedy is only reallocation of destiny. म्हणजे क्या कि suppose something is given in the chart, huh? What was I saying? Let us say something is given in the DV chart. Let us say Saturn in Moon or Moon in Saturn, whatever you want to keep it. Saturn in Moon rakho chalo. So Saturn in Moon is given in the chart. So what we will say is that mental disruption. Saturn is acid, Moon is mind, so mental disruption. So what you will do? You will do some remedy, maybe a Lal Kitab remedy, or you will do some gem ka remedy, gems ka remedy, or you will do some tantra, yantra, mantra, whatever it is. Some remedy we do, which is become in vogue today. Why? Because you can scare the opposite person also, and you can draw money from that person also. But remedy is a money making racket, simple thing. At least in 95% of people. But now all this is fine. Now simple thing which came to my mind that time is, if you say mantra, mantra is basically phonetics. Phonetics means the uchcharan. वो भ्रम में के भ्रूम में है वो अपन गड़बड़ करते हैं, and if that is not pronounced properly, that mantra is of no use. You are just talking like a robot. It is waste. बराबर? Yantra, if you try to do and you mess up something like that, it might have some other repercussion. वो क्या बोलते हैं, मणि भी नहीं बोलते हैं, व्हाट्स कॉल्ड जेम बोलते हैं. उसके अंदर माइक्रोस्कोपिक लेवल पे भी अगर एक क्रैक है, फिशर है, so it might even hit wrongly. So basically, what is remedy then? Because what the thing is, you do this remedy, ठीक है, it gives you the effect, ठीक है. But what came to mind is, who are you just by putting one gemstone or something like that changes destiny which some divine power has written? तो what came to mind is ये जो इधर obstacle है ना, तुम लोग उसको निकाल नहीं रहे हो, उसको आगे ढकेल रहे हो. आगे ढकेल, and when what happens is, imagine there's a stone and there is sand over here, you push it over, this sand is also going to mount up and make one big mountain over there. So this remedy what you're doing today by yantra mantra lal kitab, whatever it is going away just now, but it is getting pushed ahead in your this life or future lives as a big pahad. So then the thought came to mind is, then what is remedy? So remedy, this is my thought, okay, and it has helped me, so I'm just sharing that with you. Remedy, according to me, is understanding what the planet is trying to tell you. Don't change the planet. Don't do anything to the planet. Planet has got 200-300 karak tattva. It's like saying I am giving you a mango, one pakka hua, one sada hua. Mango ही है. It's not orange and mango root. Mango and mango है. You have taken the sada hua and then you are saying that oh मेरे को ये planet तकलीफ दे रहा है. What is the easiest thing that you can do? Keep the sada hua back and take the pakka hua. Bas, that is that season ball ka left and right. If you are rubbing a planet from the left hand side, it is giving you trouble. Stop rubbing from left, start rubbing from right. Ball वही है. You are not changing the ball. You get the point. This is the basic philosophy that है. तो इधर अपन Saturn, Moon, Mercury and 6th house में कुछ भी change किया क्या? We have not moved anything. That dot and all is okay. We want to activate it over there. But this, if we do this in a long-term thing, we are rubbing the ball from the right side. Sankalp, काय म्हणतो?
Like Jupiter is given as Gyati Karak, so can we change that role?
No, you can't change the role of that, but Gyati Karak, because it's a 6, 8, 12 thing. So 6, 8, 12 is what? 6th. See, 8th is basically Gupt. 12th is Dan, Moksha, giving away. Okay. And 6th also in a way is something related to medical or some obstacle or something like that. So if you do an anonymous Dan, Gupta Dan, without doing any big tom-tom about it, Gapchu jaake kidhar kiya, with that sankalp in mind, I am doing this, then that Jupiter ka Gyati Karak definition will change. This is my call for it. So if Jupiter is seated in the 12th house, so Jupiter is what? Jupiter is like a sadhu. बरोबर ना? Bhagwa, orange clothes. It's a guru. It's a guru, let's say. In the 12th house is what? Dur, moksha, sabhi jagah chhod ke gaye. So if there is some fakir who is actually, नहीं उसका कुछ लेना देना नहीं, just going, and suppose you do a दान to him, let us say, कुछ उसको दे दिया, खाने को दिया है, पैसा दिया, without expecting anything, just give him. Maybe a person will actually come, for such a person, somebody will come like that in front of me. You give him some money or you give him some food or something like that, that changes the attitude of that Gyati Karak. Now, this is not written in any book, this is something like when you asked me that came to my mind, so I am telling you. So this seems to be overall the solution. आज शाम को वो आ रहे हैं इधर, so I'll get more information, because without any discussion, I don't know the background. ये 2-3 points ही मेरे पास थे. So I'll put it down on this thing and tell you, and once the result comes out, we can cross check that. Anything else? All okay? युगा तुझा कॅमेरा हे झालाय, फ्रीज झालाय, एकदा बंद करून ऑन कर पाहिजे. युगा आता ऑन कर. हा मानसी, युगा ऑन कर कॅमेरा थोडी. हा आता आला बरं. हा मानसी काय?
So bottom left, you've got 16 March 24 and then 27 September 24, 1:30 a.m. Do we have to consider, well, like, what is that date?
This entire calculation we did on 16 March. No, that brown thing which you see over there is 16 March. Where were the planets? See, एक लक्षात घ्या. Basically, if a combination which is called yoga is given in the natal chart, that will happen in that fellow's life. Barabar. So, for example, let us say he is supposed to get married. He is given in the chart. That fellow will get married. But then all his life is he going to get married every day? No. When will he get married? When the dasha connects accordingly. So here what is happening is this Saturn in Moon is doing all this mess. When did this start off? Saturn and Rahu, when they got activated, that started. No, it's the Badak Lord also, if you see. Saturn Rahu are the co-lords of the Badak house. So Badha, they started the Badha in the 6th house of Rog and in the 9th house of Father. So Father died and Rog also started. That's what you're asking, no? So basically, if you have to see that when a person has given you, this is remedial astrology, this is not preventive astrology, this is remedial astrology. So remedial astrology, she has given you certain specific time. So what I have got to know is on 16th of March 2024 at 5 p.m. that thing started. Barabar? So 16th of March 2024 का chart क्या है? That beach वाला chart is that 16th March, where I have written in blue right in the middle. If you see here, since you can see my mouse here, can you see the mouse move? Mouse दिसतोय का?
No.
No.
Yes, yeah.
So basically 16th of March 2024 chart is this one. This is the transit chart of 16th March. So Saturn is Margi, direct, it is hitting this house, which is this house, the head. 10th aspect is on this house where the ascendant lord is also seated. And from here it is hitting Sun, which is the brain, direct head on. And here if you see, Saturn is hitting this fellow. Saturn is hitting the ascendant lord. And Saturn is hitting the 3rd house of Mercury, which is brain, which is here, which is seated with Sun. So again this gets activated. That's a little indirect thing, let's not get into that. So this is the thing, what it is.
Sir, one question.
Huh.
Sir, currently we can, since Saturn is the Badhapati of this girl, and Rahu Antardasa is happening, which is again the co-lord of Aquarius, again the Badhaka house.
Correct.
So the condition is kind of severe. So if you see the transit also, currently she is going through the Sadisat, the first 2.5 years from Moon.
Correct.
So when the Saturn actually goes to Pisces in the next 2.5 years, so the Moon and Saturn, when they come on the same degree, and which is right opposite to the natal Saturn, which is the Dasadapati. And if you see the Antardasa also will change to Jupiter from Rahu, which is again the wealth lord. So does the condition become worse?
If the remedy is not done, it will become worse. Because that thing will start in January of 2025, which is like next month.
Yeah.
So that's what I keep telling her, which Preeti Ben, who's part of this group, she has a lot of okay, let me tell you, she is like a clairvoyant. She can see a lot of things. She can tell. She was the one who told me that I am going to do something in astrology when I knew A for astrology. Uske aage kuch malum nahi tha. So she had told me once the same thing, that when somebody's problem is going to come and some divine force wants that thing to be nullified, they will come to an astrologer who will be able to do the remedy. The person who is a true astrologer, not that commercial astrologer. तो इसका शायद ये बुरा समय होने के पहले, बुरा समय तो थोड़ा बहुत तो she has to bear, so वो हुआ है. But she has come now for this remedy. So hopefully by January, when this dasha also changes, and what you're saying, the 12th house dasha starts with the Gyati Karak and all that, she will be in a comfortable situation.
Yeah, because from Chardasa also, I think the Libra will start from February 2025, which is again the 5th house, right? From
Libra, again the 6th lord is on, the debilitated Surya, all that is on. So,
yeah.
So let us see. Today, once I speak to her, I will properly document it and then we'll talk on that. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Okay? Abhi next Sunday we'll have a class. After that, I am in Sydney, so I don't know, Manasi, if we can do it from there, we will try it from there. But I don't know, in case we can do it, or we can even have a discussion. I will not have all the apparatus over there. We can have a discussion. Maybe I can share some other techniques and all over there. Then we'll see. Chalo. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, sir.